This is my office. This is where I sit day in and day out, creating Clean My Space videos quite like the one you are watching right now. This is also where I keep all of my stuff. The stuff I use to make videos, and a whole bunch of other stuff which is not nearly as interesting. Well, aside from my Hulk Hogan glass, I'm also quite fond of this picture of Melissa and me, and this picture of my father, and this picture of Neil Armstrong on the moon. But other than that, this room is a pretty cluttered, uninspired place, and all of that needs to change pretty drastically. You see, Melissa and I are expecting our first child, and this is going to be her room once she arrives. So I've got exactly 30 days to turn this cluttered mess into a nursery fit for a princess. And step one involves getting all of my crap up and out of this room. Step 2 involves paint, one of my favorite parts of making a room over. And for this nursery, we've opted for a wonderful neutral gray paint from Benjamin Moore, which is called Gray Owl. This is actually one of their best-selling paint colors, especially for nurseries. Now this color starts out very, very light. It almost looks white when it first goes on, but rest assured it finishes up as a perfectly balanced gray. A few final touches on the edges, and we're done with painting. Our next job is going to require a trip to the local home improvement store. It's been 9 years since these carpets were clean, and baby deserves clean carpets. So this is time well spent in my humble opinion. All right, it's time to tackle the closet. We opted for a closet system which allowed us to better utilize the space for storage. Unfortunately, we also opted for a closet system with very vague and very confusing instructions. Eventually, I completely disregarded the instructions and did my best to make everything fit together. I decided to use 2 rods to optimize the space and a simple shelf unit to store everything else. Next, I put together the crib, and thankfully, the instructions were much clearer. And now for the mattress. And finally, the sheet. And there we have it, a crib for baby. Next, let's tackle the dresser. Now, we were fortunate enough to have a dear friend donate their old dresser to us, but unfortunately, it was brown, and ain't nobody got time for a brown dresser. So, I made it white. It took quite a few coats of spray paint to get it just right, and then it took about 2 weeks for the paint smell to completely go away. But eventually we ended up with a beautiful white dresser. With a little help from Brother Scott, we managed to get the dresser into the nursery, and it was time to add our special little touch. That's right, cloud drawer pulls. Aren't these adorable? This set in motion the theme for the entire nursery, which are clouds. Next, let's fill up the closet with these books, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. We will also use some storage bins and these awesome hanging totes from Neat Freak, which will be used to store clean diapers and dirty laundry. We'll also hang up these adorable cloud hangers. And also this beautiful dress, which baby will be wearing at her baby naming. And one of the most functional pieces in this nursery will no doubt be this rocking chair. Beside that, we will place this pink side table, which wasn't always pink. Longtime CMS viewers will recognize this once silver table. Well, we decided to repurpose it for the nursery. Now back to the books, and boy, are there a lot of them, including Madeline, one of my favorite stories of all time. Let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite book from your childhood? Here is the first ever book we bought for Baby. While vacationing in Hawaii, we found noodles for Baby, and we just had to pick it up for her. These are my Charlie Brown books from when I was a child, and I'm excited to be able to share them with you. I think Charlie Brown is the most relatable character ever created, and I hope you enjoy these stories as much as I did. I have been looking forward to today for a while because today is the day that the cloud decals arrived. Before anything goes on the wall, we'll give it a good cleaning. Normally, I'm overwhelmed trying to find just the right position to place stuff like this. When my first plan of sticking the clouds to the wall with tape to see how they looked failed, I threw caution to the wind and I just stuck them up as randomly as possible. Now it's important to get all of the air bubbles out of stickers like this before removing the backing. And it's also important to remove the backing slowly and carefully. And there we go. While we are adding in more clouds, let's add in this awesome cloud lamp that I found at IKEA. Now let's get all of the other stuff into your nursery, including this baby monitor. And we're going to include a whole gaggle of stuffed animals. We're going to keep them right over here in this bin so we can play with them whenever. Hey look, it's more Pusheen! We also have this fancy white noise machine and nightlight. And here's a very thoughtful gift. You see how we now have the technology to take a baby's temperature without even touching the baby? Pretty cool, huh? And trust me, you don't want to know how babies used to get their temperature taken. And let's not even start with all of these baby clothes. You also received many gifts from the Clean My Space Nation, including this beautiful handmade quilt. And of course, every baby's favorite toy, a mirror. Friends and family from all over the world sent gifts to celebrate your birth, and now your nursery is filled with all of these tokens of love. This was just previously another room in our house, a room where I worked, and that was pretty much it. But now, this room means so much more. This is the room where you will rest your tiny head. This is the room where you will laugh and play. This is the room where we will read stories. And this is the room where you will be surrounded by all of the love you will ever need. These prints that hang on your wall were selected by your mother and I, and they each represent an important motto that we wanted to bestow upon you. In fact, everything in this room was gifted to you by family and friends, who all love you dearly. We also got you a baby book, which we will keep beside our baby books, so you can always see just how much you look like your mom and just how much you look like your dad. And so you can always remember how freakishly large I was at 5 days old. Welcome to this world, Riley. I love you.